Incumbent Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress, APC, was declared winner of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the just concluded Ondo State Guber poll. Now, Aiyedatiwa secured about 366,781 votes to defeat his closest rival, Agboola Ajayi of the People's Democratic Party, who polled 117,845 votes to come second. The APC made a clean sweep, winning all 18 local government areas. However, President Bola Tinubu, through a statement issued recently by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, has asked political parties and candidates who are unhappy with the outcome of the just concluded Ondo State governorship election to seek redress in court. Now, speaking with me on the program at this time to discuss the fallout of this particular election is Emmanuel Onwubiko, is the National Coordinator of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria. He joins me virtually from Abuja. Thank you for your time, Emmanuel.
Good evening.
All right, let me just throw this to you. From what you observed in the just concluded Ondo State Guber polls, will you say it was free and fair?
It wasn't fair and fair. What happened was just state capture, and it's very unfortunate that democracy is being destroyed systematically by officials who are paid by the taxpayers to organize proper elections, and they do not do that. They just organize kangaroo elections to railroad persons who are chosen by the people who are in the corridors of power in Abuja. It is very, very unfortunate. There were a lot of issues that characterized that election. One of those key issues is that of the fact that the election was sold and bought. It was just an open marketplace, where the parties in contention, particularly the APC, that is the party in control of the state's machinery in Ondo State, and the other competing party, the PDP, there were cases of kind of compromise, beneficial inducement of voters, and it was so widespread. But there was kind of inducement that happened during that Ondo State election, just like what happened during the Edo State election, that was also stolen, was that even the police operatives that were detailed to guarantee safety of life and property, and to guarantee that there is transparency, that there is a kind of proper election. The police people were also bought. They offered their services to politicians who paid them off. Some of them got 10,000 naira. In fact, there were reports that some were actually quarreling over why a politician gave 15,000 naira to somebody from a sister security agency, but gave them 10,000 naira each. So it was just a very shameful episode. So, and to tell you how very serious it is, the reports of police collecting money during the Ondo State election was even confirmed by officials of the Police Service Commission, which is a publicly owned institution.
I'm sorry, I need to take you on that. You said that there were reports of policemen being induced or police officers being induced, and this report was confirmed by the Police Service Commission.
Police Service Commission observers, those who were there to monitor the election, or we call them observers or monitors, who were there to monitor the conduct of police operatives, confirmed that the police people were actually compromised, were financially induced. It's part of the report that the media carried. It's there, and then the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, one of the most respected NGO organizations, that was on ground to monitor the election also captured detailed facts and figures of how the electoral process in Ondo State was hijacked by money bags. And the danger in this is that one of your speakers in yesterday's program that you, either yesterday or 2 days ago on this same Ondo election, one of your speakers was quite frank and was brutal in terms of saying the truth. He complained about the voter apathy that was widespread. Voter apathy is one of the greatest threats to the survival of democracy in Nigeria, in addition to the fact that politicians have evolved and embraced a sophisticated and organized criminal practice of purchasing voting, voters, inducing voters with peanuts to vote.
All right, we'll come to the issue of voter apathy. We'll come to the issue of voter apathy, Emmanuel. But let me give you a moment there and bring in Leye Igbabo, is the People's Democratic Party spokesperson for the Ondo State chapter. He joins us virtually also on the program. Thank you for your time, Leye.
I'm here.
All right. Let me ask you, as the major opposition in the just concluded Ondo State Guber polls, I mean, your party did come second, with, of course, raking in, according to INEC, about just a bit over 100,000 votes, almost 200, actually. I would just ask you, for the sake of emphasis, is your party comfortable with the outcome?
How can we be comfortable with such outcome? We can't. We are not comfortable with the outcome. There's no. The whole thing is a sham. The whole thing is a charade, and it's quite unfortunate. I feel ashamed that I'm a Nigerian, because I don't know how good governance can be entrenched under such notorious circumstances. It's quite unfortunate. We can't be happy. We can't be comfortable with that kind of a situation. Vote buying. I mean, it's quite unfortunate. We're not happy. Let me answer your question.
Okay. Well, you talked about vote buying, and this issue, of course, has been widely discussed, as regards this election. And they said, some reports even said, it was peculiar to virtually many of the parties. So I'm going to ask you this straight question. Did your party, during the elections, the People's Democratic Party, did your party buy votes too?
No, that's not the question. That's not the question. I don't want us to, separate this question as to who actually...
No, you raised it. You talked about vote buying. You said vote buying. So I'm just asking, for the sake of clarity, did the PDP in Ondo State also buy votes?
We don't even have the money to do so. Where's the money? We don't have the money. We are not the government. We don't have the treasury. We are not in the position of the treasury of the state. So where do you think we can get such money? We don't have the money. We don't have it. That's why if you look at this scenario, when we're doing the campaigns, the APC was just looking at us as not knowing what to do, because they actually knew the strategy they're going to use. I keep on imagining that what will this government use to campaign? What will we say? Is it the hardship? Is it the pains? Is it the harmony? Is it the trauma that people are passing through that they will use to campaign? And they kept quiet. They were just looking at us because they knew the strategy they're going to use. You see somebody who has been in government for the past 10 months and is not able to do anything. You should know that he has some other strategies that he wanted to adopt. So when we now got to the field, we saw exactly what they wanted to do. They were actually buying it. They were buying the votes in the presence of the security agents. And I wonder what the security agents were doing. If we're told that there are several thousands of security agents that were deployed to man these elections, and I begin to wonder what exactly was their job, because they were actually buying the votes right in their presence. As a matter of fact, some of the security agents were helping them in buying the votes. Even when they were doing that, and we pointed their attention, we drew the attention of the security agents to the charade that was going on. We would just play it down and say, okay, don't worry, don't worry. If you don't, go and do your own. It's a very pathetic situation, very traumatic situation. So vote buying has become entrenched in a political process, and it's very, very dangerous. The implications are very, very wide and unimaginable.
I mean, just to, of course, pick you on what you said, Leye, you said that your party, didn't have the financial power or muscle to buy votes.
No. No.
What if the situation was different? Would your party still have done so? If you had the means? If you understand what PDP stands for, they are not used to that kind of situation, especially in Ondo State. We are not used to that kind. We believe that you do your campaign, you go to the grassroots, you connect with them, you tell them what you intend to do. Our manifestos are very fantastic, and they bought into it. But unfortunately, on the day of election, when they saw money, so many people changed their intentions and voted for the party. They knew that so many people, they knew that they were passing through pains. They knew that the situation is agonizing, but they were just helpless. They couldn't help themselves. Okay. They couldn't, take the sacrifice. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Leye. I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but the reason why I keep asking this is because, there were reports that at some point, the issue of vote buying became the highest bidder, where some individuals would offer a certain amount and some individuals would come to offer a higher figure. So it became a battle of the highest bidder. And that's why I just needed the People's Democratic Party to clear the air on this issue. So you are saying categorically that your party did not partake in vote buying in the just concluded Ondo State Governor polls?
Parties that participated in this election. Maybe some other, other parties try to do that, but I'm telling you, it's a very clear issue. We don't have the financial muscle to engage APC. We couldn't have contemplated that because we're not in government. We don't have the position of the treasury. We couldn't have contemplated buying votes with APC. If we had contemplated that, we would have gone to the nooks and crannies of the state to campaign to give them what we intend to do in government. So we don't have the muscle to do that. We don't.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leye. Let me bring in Emmanuel into the conversation right now. Emmanuel, you used the word state capture in your opening remark. You said that what transpired over the weekend in Ondo State was a classical situation of state capture. I would like you to be more explicit in what actually it was you were trying to contextualize there.
Well, if you listen to the public statement that was made by the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in fact, one of the finest presidents we ever had in this country, who set up the two major institutions that are battling anti-corruption. So it's quite laughable when somebody came up, a former minister came up to say, Obasanjo conducted the most corrupt election. That was quite a laughable issue, and it shows lack of respect for elders. Such a young man to open wide his mouth and speak against a person who is old enough to be his great-grandfather is quite unfortunate. Then Obasanjo explained the issue of state capture by saying that we don't have a very credible electoral system in Nigeria, particularly the actors, the major actors who are actually conducting the election in Nigeria. The men and officers of the Independent National Electoral Commission, they have just been, let me use a popular word that some of us use during our school days. They were just being teleguided. They were just being manipulated. They were just being used as, how scientists are trying to make use of artificial intelligence. So, like, INEC is just garbage in, garbage out. INEC had the ample opportunity of making the process in Ondo State, particularly after they made a disaster of the Ondo State election, when the opposition parties, not only the PDP, even the Labour Party and the rest of them in Ondo State complained widely that the resident electoral commissioner is a relation, a younger brother of the Minister of FCT, who openly stated that he is not in support of the PDP candidate and that he's not going to do anything to help him. And that now you have somebody that he single-handedly railroaded into INEC, being posted to Ondo State as the resident electoral commissioner. And people made a lot of complaints and INEC didn't listen to them. It is shameful. And then the same thing happened in Ondo State. Ondo State election happened, and Ondo State election came up about a month or a month and a half after that of Ondo State. INEC had all the opportunities in this world to drop the resident electoral commissioner who was alleged to be compromised, who was alleged to be, in fact, there is an allegation that she has affiliations with the APC and that she has openly identified herself with the candidate of the APC. We are not, as a human rights organization, we are neither for PDP nor for APC. We are not, we are completely neutral in terms of politics. Our concern is that all these problems that have been pointed out, all these fundamental, man-made errors that have been enforced, both by INEC, both by the federal government, both by the security institutions, may lead to the eventual collapse of democracy, which we shouldn't pray for. Nigerians should clearly make it known to government that it is not in anybody's interest for the federal government to undermine democracy in Nigeria. And you're talking about state capture. What other evidence do you need to hear when the national chairman of the ruling party in Abuja, the national chairman of the ruling party in the federal government says, we have a template, we have an agenda, and we're going to carry it out. We're going on a political rampage. We're going to take over Ondo State. In fact, he now made additional threat. They're going to take over the whole of Southwest. Of course, when persons who are wielding political powers at the central government says, we're going to do something, they already have the army in their pockets. They have the police in their pockets.
We need to go on a break.
They have also captured the court of law. They are building houses for judges, building houses for justices all over the place in Abuja. The CJN is all over the place, hibernating and relating with.
I'm sorry, Emmanuel. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I understand that. I understand that we need to go on a commercial break now. Once we, of course, return, we'll definitely pick up. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are looking at the fallout of the just concluded gubernatorial polls in Ondo State. I still have with me my guest, Emmanuel Onwubiko, is the National Coordinator of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, and Leye Igbabo is the People's Democratic Party spokesperson for the Ondo State chapter. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Let me come to you, Leye. Now the elections in the state, of course, according to INEC, a winner has been declared. What next for the People's Democratic Party in the state? And you said, aside the issue of vote buying, what other areas of reservation do you have as regards the recently conducted poll?
They have many plans. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. They have so many plans. One of the other plans that they had was to recruit APC members as INEC, ad hoc staff. Few days to the election, some of those INEC staff that were once trained were removed, and that's it. Was brought in. That's part of their plans to, to truncate, to manipulate this election. So that's why, you remember vividly that before the election, we had, drawn the attention of the INEC chairman to the fact that the rec here, Mrs. Tuyobala, had affiliations with the APC, and the fact that she lives all her life in Ondo State. If you live your life in Ondo State, definitely you have friends. And we asked them to remove her. They didn't. Again, so I never knew when Alhaji Gadui, the chairman of the national chairman of the APC, was boasting that they would capture. They have their plans, and one of the plans is to heavily monetize the voting structure. And then if that one did not work, then they also have planned to tap out with the electoral results. And I can tell you that even the electoral results are also tampered with, but we are not going to discuss more on that because the party has made its intention known to approach the tribunals. All that we are doing.
So the People's Democratic Party will be going to court on this matter.
Yes, we are. We are going to court on the matter. We are. We are not going to allow these things to. No, if you see a lot of the massive, voting that typified this election. It is dangerous for our democracy if we allow it to go unchallenged. Extremely dangerous for our democracy if we allow it to go unchallenged. So we are approaching the court. We have a lot of things that we are not going to see here. But I can tell you also that we are approaching the court, to challenge the outcome of the election.
All right.
So all of this.
All right, Leye, thank you so much. Because you're pressed for time, in 30 seconds, I would just like to take Emmanuel's final thoughts on this, and of course, I'll let you gentlemen go. Looking at what we saw in Ondo State, I mean, compared to what we saw in Edo State, would you say that there was any improvement? Are there takeaways?
There's no. You cannot talk about improvement when the process is not fair and fair. When the process is so organized in such a way that it will favor a particular political party, we need to have a clean slate in INEC. Otherwise, we're just wasting our time. We're not practicing democracy. We're practicing autocracy. And the danger in state capture is it will come a time when you won't even see a single person, not even the members of the ruling party. The members of the party will feel so disappointed with the entire charade in the country that they wouldn't even participate in the election. Even it's not just with state government election, state governors election, even the national elections, you see how many people out of about 90 million registered voters, only, in fact, less than 25 million people participated in that election. We need to do something about democracy. All right. And find a way of stamping out vote buying. That's the greatest sabotage of the democratic process.
All right. Gentlemen, I'd like to deeply appreciate you for your time on the program. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Onwubiko is the National Coordinator of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, and also Leye Igbabo is the People's Democratic Party spokesperson on the state chapter. Gentlemen, once again, I'd like to say a big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.